Ludwig van Beethoven, 1770–1827, was a German composer and pianist who is widely considered one of the most important figures in Western classical music. He was born in Bonn, Germany, into a family of musicians, and showed prodigious talent as a musician from an early age. Beethoven began his musical studies with his father, Johann, who was a singer and instrumentalist in the court orchestra. He later studied with several other teachers, including the composer Christian Gottlieb Niffy. At the age of 17, Beethoven made his public debut as a pianist and began to compose his own music. In his early years, Beethoven was influenced by the classical style of composers such as Mozart and Haydn. He composed a number of works in this style, including piano sonatas and string quartets. However, as he matured as a composer, Beethoven began to push the boundaries of classical music and develop his own unique voice. Beethoven's life was marked by a series of personal and health struggles. He suffered from hearing loss from an early age, and by the time he was in his 30s, he was almost completely deaf. This caused him great emotional and creative turmoil, and he became increasingly isolated and withdrawn. Despite his health problems, Beethoven continued to compose at a prodigious rate, and his works from this period are often considered his greatest. He wrote his Ninth Symphony, which includes the famous choral setting of Friedrich Schiller's Ode to Joy, when he was almost completely deaf. The symphony is a towering achievement in Western music and has been described as a musical Mount Everest. Beethoven's other great works from this period include his late string quartets and piano sonatas, which are known for their complex harmonies and profound emotional depth. He also continued to experiment with new forms and techniques, such as the use of the metronome and the expansion of traditional classical forms. Beethoven died in Vienna in 1827, at the age of 56. His legacy as a composer and pianist has been enormous, and his influence can be heard in the music of countless composers who came after him. He is often considered the bridge between the classical and romantic periods of music, and his music continues to be celebrated and studied by musicians and music lovers around the world.